Hey everyone, it's Syerra. So today I'm showing you guys a book haul. Now before we get started, I just want to say Happy New Year. I really hope that this year will be good for all of us and trying to be positive as always. Yeah, so now for the book haul. So on my channel I make a lot of videos about like mental health, my trichotillomania disorder, and a lot of other just mental health related content. I want to start off the new year on my channel with the video a little more lighthearted. So with me, I have 8 books to show you guys. I have not read all of them. I've read some of them. The ones I have read, I'll let you know if it's worth reading or no. I really wanted to have 10 books for this to make the number a little more satisfying, but I have 8. So let's just do that. So these are all the books I have. A lot of these books I definitely bought because of TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest. A lot of people got me hooked onto Colleen Hoover books, and I have a soft spot for cheesy romance novels, okay? So a lot of these books are Colleen Hoover. If you don't like that, I'm so sorry. I really like her books a lot. I've seen a trend where people are hating on her, and I'm like, okay, all that aside, I really like her books. So let's get started. So let's start strong. The first book I have to show is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. The cover is like super pretty. I honestly bought it pretty much just for the cover. But also this was the first book I bought. I bought this last year. Actually around this time. I've just seen so many people rave about it. A lot of people said it's a book that does cover a lot of really dark subjects. They talk about physical abuse, they talk about emotional abuse, they talk about past trauma and current trauma. There's like a love triangle that happens in this book. This book was meant for me. I really liked it. From like the second I started reading the first chapter to the end, I will say like halfway is when I get really hooked onto this. And this was like the longest book I read. Books like these are big for me to read because I'm a very slow reader, and I also used to hate reading. My whole life I did not like reading because the only time I would read is when school forced me in like English class and stuff like that. So it's really nice to buy books myself and read them and actually enjoy them, because I've always wanted to know what that feeling was like. And now we do. So this book has 373 pages, not including the acknowledgements at the end, because I know that's not something that everyone reads, but I read it and it's really cool, it's really interesting. It really helps to tie this whole book in together. It helps make this book make a lot of sense. Anyways, enough talking, I just really like this book. And on a scale of 1 to 5, so 5 I would say like amazing, everyone must read it, and 1 is don't buy this. I would give this a 4. I give it a 4 because I know this book was really overhyped, and I know like a lot of people like didn't like it. I really like it, so I give it a 4 out of 5. Next book, Colleen Hoover. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna show this now just because it's part 2 of the book I just showed you. It Ends With Us. So this is It Starts With Us. Now I got this for Christmas and I was super excited. I'm currently reading it. I'm only like 3 chapters in, so I really don't have an opinion around this book. So far it's good. It's really cute. It's cute so far. This book is more like a happy story for the main character and another character. Also, Colleen Hoover is like super good with the covers. I don't know if it's her or if it's her team that does these or whatever, but really good. 10 out of 10 for that. So this book has 320 pages, so less than the other one. Once again, not including acknowledgements. The acknowledgements at the end is only like 1 page or 2. And again, not everyone reads that. I'm not gonna rate this book because I'm only like 3 chapters in. If anyone's curious of when I do finish this, I'll leave a comment down below on this video when I do, and I'll rate it then. So I am very excited. Next book I have, let's take a little break from Colleen Hoover. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So once again, this was trending on TikTok. People said this was like the best book they read. I'm halfway through. So I started this book last year. I started in like end of August, and then when September hit, I started school and I had absolutely no time to read. It was just assignments on assignments, and then I had work to do on the side. So I had no time to read. But now I'm on my winter break, so I've been reading a lot more, and I honestly, I put this book off to the side because I read half of it and I enjoyed it. But then once I got all these new books for Christmas, I was much more excited to read those. So I'm putting a pause on this. I'm gonna continue reading it after I finish reading the other book I just showed you. But honestly, a lot of people say that they love this book, and I know I'm not finished. Like a lot of people say that halfway through is when things start to get really interesting. So the first like half of this book I read, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit boring for me. When there's too many characters involved, I get a little lost and I forget who's who sometimes. And I feel like this book did that in the beginning. It has like a lot of characters and it's not messy, like they do it in a really good way. I guess it's maybe just me. I just haven't clicked with it yet. And again, I don't want to rate this just because I haven't finished it, so I feel like that wouldn't be fair. But the cover, once again, absolutely beautiful. So this book has 389 pages. I think this is like one of the biggest books I have, biggest. So yeah, I am looking forward to finishing this and hopefully enjoying this better than I have so far. All right, so the next book is Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. So sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This book, I haven't read it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. People have just said it's like, I love also reading depressing stuff. I love watching depressing shows. I love watching like sad things, and like I love watching shows with like really heavy subject material. I don't know why, it just fascinates me. Apparently this book is all of that, so I'm really excited to start reading this. There is a part 2 to this, I believe. It's called When You'd Be Home, or You'd Be Home by Now. Insert a photo of that. It's part 2 to this, so I'm really hoping I will like this and I'll buy the part 2 and read it. So yeah. All right, so the next book I have to show is They Both Die at the End. Now this, you know how the ending is, which I find this really interesting because they tell you like, I assume there's 2 characters in this book, maybe there's others, but I'm assuming 2 main characters, and clearly they both die at the end. But I guess you find out like how their journey went and what led them to die, I guess. Yeah. The second I saw the title, I was like, yes. So this is a really small book, so once I start reading it, I feel like I'm gonna speed through it really quickly. I'm trying to see how many pages there are without having any spoilers. Oh god, this is hard. Alright, so this book has 373 pages. It seems like a really small book. The cover is absolutely amazing. I love this. This book also has a part 2 to it, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember what the name is, but if I can find it, I'll put a photo of it right here. It's similar, very similar cover, very similar storyline. I'm very excited to read this. This is another book I got for Christmas. I'm super excited to read it. I just hope it lives up to the hype because I think of all my books, this is the one I'm like most excited to read. So I'm just really hoping I like it. So the next book I have, we're going back to Colleen Hoover. Ugly Love. This book absolutely consumed me. I was super invested into this. So I read this August of last year. I was at my cottage with my family. It was summertime, we were by the beach. So I'd often go down by the beach and just read for a couple hours. I have super good memories of reading this book just because it was such a good like peaceful time in my life. I was super calm, I was no stress. I read this whole book at my cottage and it was amazing. But even before I read this book, I bought it because once again, TikTok convinced me to buy it. People were saying this is better than all the other Colleen Hoover books. They were saying that the other ones that were really hyped, this one is outstanding. So this book is a friends to lovers situation, and I love those storylines. They're so cute. And they get really messy, and that's why I love it so much. This book is also really good at going back into the past and present, back and forth a lot, but they do it like really effortlessly where you're not lost and confused. Like, you know which time frame you're reading. There's not a lot of characters, which I love because it's easy to remember like who's who and what their role is. But I will be very frank, this book has a lot of sex, but I love it. I love books with a lot of romance and a sad storyline. And this has both. This has both, and I freaking love it. And once you find out what the cover means, I was like, I might be over exaggerating, but I really love this book. This is my favorite Colleen Hoover book ever. This book has 322 pages. So a lot of my books have the same like page amount, which makes it really easy for me to read. Okay, so I got one more Colleen Hoover book and then we'll move on to the next one and that'll be that for Colleen Hoover. I know it's a lot, but I freaking love her books. All right, now we have November 9th. This book interests me because first of all, I have not read it. I bought this just because it's a really different storyline than a lot of her other books. I I find a lot of our books cover a lot of like romance and they have a lot of like sex involved, you know? But this one is apparently a story of a couple and they meet every single year on the one day, November 9th in person, and then all the other days they never see each other ever. So they only meet one time on November 9th every year, and they both document their separate stories of their life and what happens when they do meet. So it's supposed to be a very heartfelt, cute story. It's not supposed to be too dark. Well, that's what I've heard. God knows, they can just, one of them dies. But the cover is absolutely beautiful, and every one of her covers has a meaning to it of why the cover looks like that, and I'm really excited to find out what this means. So this book has 307 pages. I think this is the shortest book I have so far. That's really interesting. I'm not sure if I'm gonna love it, but I'm giving it a chance because all my other books have similar themes where there's a lot of romance, a lot of graphic content, a lot of like heavy, dark subject material. This is supposed to be really different and really refreshing from all that, so I'm gonna give it a try. All right, and the last book I have to show, this might be probably one of the most hyped books out there. This book was in my basket for like 1.5 years, and I got it on Christmas and I was so blessed and thankful. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm very excited to read this. Honestly, I'm really excited to read this just because it has a 3-part to it. So this is the first book, they have a second and a third. And I'm really hoping I do like the first one because there's something so satisfying about loving a book and then reading the second part and the third part. And also the cover, it looks so nice. Like, you see this at a store and you just want to pick it up and see what it's about. So once again, this is very different from all the other books I've read. So I believe it's a story of a girl who's in high school and she's trying to solve these crimes and these cases that happened in her town and her city that haven't been solved. So I think she's trying to like solve them and see what happens. I think I'm really gonna like this because I love stories where they're trying to uncover a secret and a mystery and then at the end you find out, or maybe you find out in other books or whatever. I'm really hoping I like this. I want to like it so bad, so I'm really hoping I do. I've heard so many good things about it. I've seen it all over my page. Everyone I know has read this, so now it's my turn. And this book has 387 pages. So another one of my more big books. And again, I really hope it lives up to my standards. Alright, so that's the end of my book haul. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are interested in more book hauls or more book related videos, I'm a reader now. I'm in my reading era, so I will make videos if people want to watch those. And I didn't mention this in the beginning of the video. The last time I posted was like 4 months ago, and in those 4 months, I reached over 200 subscribers. So I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Everyone that subscribes. Over 200 subscribers for me is like crazy. I never thought I would hit 100. So the fact that almost like 220 something people are watching me, that's pretty crazy. So thank you so much for that. I truly appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.